Hi guys,
Hey guys, welcome to Binge.
or Binge, where he talks
She talks.
and
We
we eat. So today we've got a feast from the House of Anglo, and I think that's right up our alley where we've got dishes from the past, blasts from the past with their own take on it.
Yeah, so it's this is traditional Anglo food with a twist. We can't wait to try this. We've grown up on Anglo food. I think me not so much, but I've had a little bit of it. But Rebecca on the other hand has grown up with Anglo food throughout her life. Yeah.
So what is Anglo food? We say Anglo. So basically it is the British Indian food. So it's a mix of spices when it was British India and it started there. And today we've got a lot of different spices, a lot of different flavors, a lot of different tastes. We've got pork chops, divine, succulent, tasty pork chops.
Yeah, you can smell the food from here. You've got jungli pulao.
Yes.
Jungli-
Jungli chicken.
Jungli pulao. No, I think it's veg.
Jungli
Jungli
pulao.
pulao. You have
Pastel mince.
I was about to say something else, but yeah, we have pastel mince. We have shortbreads. We have
bread pudding.
and
Chocolate pudding. And not to forget, we've got a beef jalfrezi pie, not fry, pie, which is here.
we have a beef jalfrezi pie. So again, another take on authentic Anglo food with a twist. So it's just your beef jalfrezi has just been upgraded.
Yeah. Into a pie with a base.
So,
So
wow,
that's the
there's so many things. We don't know where to start. I think we should start with getting the plate on my side of the table first, and
Should we tuck into the pie first?
yes, I think we should start with the pie.
Let's see how it cuts.
Oh wow!
This is the beef jalfrezi fry.
Oh yeah,
pie.
guys, and it's topped with cheddar cheese. So we are looking. Yes, I think we should cut this off.
So this is perfect for your Sunday hangover cure. Hangover cure.
Cheers, guys.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but these are layers of goodness. We've got, similar to the pastel mince, we've got the mince, which is the beef jalfrezi, which is a different masala, coated with a thick layer of cheddar cheese and covered so sweetly with pie, which is, what do we call that?
It's a buttery, floury dough that covers that jalfrezi pie. The mince has got it reminds you of yesteryears. The mince, very traditional Anglo jalfrezi. It's got a very subtle blend of spices. All right, you can taste the pepper, the salt. You can definitely taste the pepper. It's got quite a bit of pepper in it. It's got garlic, finely chopped out. You can taste the garlic, you can taste the onions, which is all cooked out, and then the sharpness of the cheese that cuts through the entire jalfrezi, and the butteriness of that pie covering. It's so buttery. It just melts in your mouth.
It does. It absolutely does.
Yeah, it just crumbles when you bite into it. So which is always a good sign when it comes to a base. Overall, a very good dish. The sharpness of the cheese, the peppery garlicky pesto mince,
Yeah.
and
But
sorry,
that's a
not pesto mince,
jalfrezi.
jalfrezi mince, and the sharpness of the cheddar cheese and the butteriness of the base itself. It's an amazing combination. It's slightly different than what we're used to, but then it is a very well-rounded dish.
This is a typical Nana's jalfrezi. But the person who makes it is not a Nana. I'm sure she got inspiration from her Nana, Karen Martin, from the House of Anglo. That was some very good beef jalfrezi pie, not fry, pie.
Pie. Rebecca got a little tongue-tied at the start, but then
Oh, that was good.
that was some
nice.
good pie.
The crust was nice, and it cut well. It didn't make me go like that. Kachak, kachak, kachak. It went like. No, actually, it did cut well. It tasted even better. It was light. I think for anyone with a hangover, it is something that's really nice, something that's really light, and I would say one piece wouldn't be enough for the person if it's a small piece. Just saying, slice. Correction, slice, not piece. Okay, moving on. What do you want to try next?
I think we'll try the pesto mince with. Yeah, we'll try the pesto mince.
So you want to tell them what pesto mince is?
Pesto mince.
So pesto mince is basically, it looks like I'm the one with more Anglo roots than Sean, is basically a dry mince. It is peppery, it has potato, it has a lot of potato, and the texture of the mince is a little more grainy as opposed to how it would be when it's fine ground.
Okay, so it's not double mince. It's just your normal.
I find garlic overpowering here, and how I would typically eat this on a normal day would be with flaming hot chapatis, pesto mince, and your dinner, lunch, whatever your meal is set. House of Anglo, this has been refreshing. It's been nice as well. There's not too much of a masala, so it's quite light on you. It's quite light on your palate. It's quite light on the digestion, and it doesn't really kind of, what do you say? You know, some things give you that itchy feeling when you eat mince sometimes because of a particular element, but this doesn't, so it's actually nice.
Yeah, it's very subtle flavors. Again, it's basic pepper, salt, garlic, onions, the starchiness of the potatoes that cuts through the pepperiness of the mince itself. The pepper as the aftertaste. You get the aftertaste of the pepper, which hits the back of your palate. You can definitely taste the garlic. It's got a lot of onions, like I said before, and coriander. I think that's how it's finished. Very subtle flavors, very flavorful. The main thing that stands out is the star of the dish, of course, is the beef mince. And the authenticity of the dish itself brings out that taste,
Yeah.
which gives the main, the star of the show, of course, is the beef mince, and it makes that stand out. Alright?
I just felt that.
Alright, so it makes the star of the show stand out, and yeah, it's a very good dish.
It's light.
Very rounded, very light, and very powerful.
Should we try and change things up with the rice, jungli palau. Okay, so we're going to be trying the jungli palau, which happens to be
Lost.
a palau. Oh, you want me to serve? I was waiting for him to serve. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, please.
Oh, sorry, it is chicken palau.
So
My
it is.
apologies.
So a jungli palau is I was right. It is a chicken palau with rice, and over here we can see it is topped off with mushrooms,
Sauteed mushrooms.
sauteed mushrooms, and you mix it up. So a jungli palau, I would say, I'm going to be brazen and say it's similar to a biryani because it's got the colors of a biryani, but not necessarily the spices of it. Let's try it. That is different. So I've never had a jungli palau before, but the flavors are soft and subtle, and the veggies are not those chunky bits in between. But it's got a sweetish, it doesn't have too much of a masala taste, it's got more of a sweetish taste to it.
It's very different from what I've grown up to taste. The palau itself is very fragrant, lots of flavors.
Yeah.
You can taste the chili, the spices that go into this, onions, and this is made with basmati rice, which
Yeah.
gives it that added fragrance.
Yeah, I think the aroma that comes out of it and even the flavors, you can be fooled that it looks like a biryani. You can be very well fooled. However, it is made all together, and when it is cooked, that's why the flavors are, as Sean would say, rounded. The flavors are whole. They are not too pungent, they are light, and I think it's something that people with a palate that cannot withstand too much of heat or pungency would love.
Yeah, rightfully said. The dish itself is very subtle. It's got a blend of flavors. All of those flavors combined give it that amazing taste. It's not overly spicy, nor is it very bland. It's got that right amount of textures, the right amount of spices that combine to make this amazing jungli palau. Jungli palau, rightfully said, because it's a mix of a lot of vegetables, chicken, and the rice that combines.
It's all made
It's a
together.
combination of all of these things. It's all cooked together. It's all cooked in the same pot. Everything is made in one pot, so it saves you time from washing. But overall, very flavorful and like Rebecca said, a well-rounded dish.
I just said like Sean would say a well-rounded dish.
No, like we would always say, a well-rounded dish, which is what you would like on a normal Sunday afternoon.
Oh, yes. I think the next thing is what Sean would really like on a normal Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, baby. That is the pork chop.
And this is the House of Anglo specialties.
This is their signature dish. Well, signature dish it has to be because it smells divine.
Yeah, as you open up the box, it just went whoosh in your face. So you could smell, you can get the aroma. We use aroma a lot today, but the food is flavorsome. The food has fragrance. Yes, I'm going to change my word. It is fragrant. It is succulent. It is absolutely divine.
Wow. I know what this is called a signature dish. Oh wow. The reason why your Anglo-Indian pork chop, right, is the signature dish simply because it is the most spectacular pork chop that you would ever have. It's sometimes when you have a pork chop, it can the tendency to get it cooked correctly makes people sometimes overcook the pork chop, which becomes it becomes a fall of the bone kind of a pork chop. Yes, a lot of people like that, but sometimes you just like that bite to it when you have that pork chop. You can taste the garlic, the onions, the peppers, the spices. That all go into this, and the one thing that stands out, as it makes it very Anglo, is the amount of vinegar used in the dish as well.
Yeah, the brown sauce. That's exactly what it is. I think Anglos love vinegar. I would say that because in my house they use a lot, and I'm guessing in other households too. But it just gives it uplifts the dish, and it gives it not a tardiness, but a sort of tanginess. It's got a twang in it.
I think this is one of those dishes that you can keep in the refrigerator over a period of time, maybe 2-3 days, and as the days go by, the flavors intensifies. This is one of those dishes. It's amazing when it's cooked, as in when you have it fresh. It's good the next day. It's even better the next day, and a few days later, like maybe 2-3 days. This is something that you can make in abundance. As days go by, the flavor keeps intensifying, and it just becomes an amazing dish from start to finish. This is something you would love. This is something you would enjoy, be it with whatever you want to have it with the pulao. You can have it on the side. You can have it by itself. You can have it with chapatis, bread, whatever, any sort of bread.
You can have it as a starter with an accompaniment on the side.
Yeah, to accompany something. It's like
But we're not doing that something
Yeah,
because
so-
someone's hungover.
yeah.
Okay.
Moving on.
Moving on. So we've covered the soup side dish, and now it's time for the pudding. So the reason why we say soup side dish and pudding, it's a very Anglo term. And pudding, we've got the most famous Anglo-Indian bread pudding. What is it? It's just layers of bread with a bit of custard and some extra Nana's love. I know this was not made by a Nana, but I'm sure it was influenced by her. I still keep saying that. So, Karen, this looks lovely.
It smells.
It's sprinkled with a bit of sugar dust on top. So
You can smell the cinnamon.
it's coming off nicely. It's not sticking to the wrapping. The best part is, I think today, which we haven't mentioned before, is the way things were wrapped, the way things were sent. It was really nice. There were colors. It was neat. It was, what else was it? It was vibrant.
It was it was vibrant. It was, she was certain of the fact of how she wanted to present it. The presentation was phenomenal.
Yep.
The presentation was phenomenal.
It was spot on. Nothing was spilling. Nothing spilled through. Nothing leaked. And I think she took a lot of care when she was putting it together, because that was something that we really saw that stood out, and we really appreciated that. Thank you, Karen, for getting in touch with us. Sorry we made you wait so long, but you know the drill. Wow. Yeah. It's okay. Okay, so this is it. Sorry, I've is layers of bread, custard, and a few other things that go into it.
Bread, custard, cinnamon, sugar.
If you don't know what bread pudding is, if you're curious, no, it's not just the taste of bread. It's got sugar, it's got custard, it's got cinnamon, it's got a bit of milk in it. It's got a nice bouncy flavor to it, and one thing is that it varies from household to household. You will find it in all shapes and sizes. You will find it with additions and subtractions, but that's how it is. That's how bread pudding is, and it's tasty. It's some people we put nuts and raisins in it.
Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of different takes on the same bread pudding as we all know it. Well renowned, well known. I mean, very well known with all Anglo families. It's just that every household has their own take. Every nana is made differently, so every dish is made differently by their nanas, grandmothers, if I may.
Oh yeah, so nana is a grandmother when an Anglo-Indian says it.
We say nana. It's called for the others out there who don't know what nana is. It's grandmom, the grandmother, and yes. So it's made differently in different households. With this, however, it's got that crust on the outside, but it's soft, custardy,
Bouncy goodness.
creamy, cushiony goodness.
Yeah, it feels like that. It's got that cushion effect. You know, the little bouncy cushions. But I think the nice part of it is, again, it can be made in various ways, as we mentioned before. If you're lazy like me, you can mix it up and put it in the micro. If you want to spend a little extra time on it, putting it in the bake oven at a certain temperature. If you need a recipe, Google it. At a certain temperature, and it works. But nonetheless, the taste is almost the same, but different.
It's very subtle changes, very subtle differences in the way bread pudding is made. It can be baked in the oven. The traditional way is the old, the sand ovens, the old traditional.
Oh yeah, the sand charcoal ovens.
The sigri is how it was made before.
What's a sigri?
A sigri is like it's like a skillet. All right, so they use it's made in different ways. They use sand. They also sometimes they use they have wood at the bottom of the sigri, and they have sand on top of it. So you have a container put on that, and then that's how they used to make it in the old days.
So we learned something new on the show today.
Some puddings may not have the crust on it, but that is made with water. That is steamed. So you have steamed puddings, you have baked puddings, you have different types of puddings. This, however, is baked, but you have various other options.
Okay, and a secret for any of you watching this. If you've got too much bread in your house and you're fed up with just eating
Leftover bread is basically
alone, I was giving it in a nice way, Sean.
So we'll edit that.
Now we can't, it's live. And we don't do editing. No.
We don't have an editor.
No. Okay. So basically, as Sean said, I was beating around the bush. It is leftover bread or excess bread. You don't know what to do with it. You're fed up of eating bread, butter, jam. You want something different. Why not bread, custard, milk, sugar, a few more ingredients, and make it a bread
Egg
pudding.
yolks, eggs, all that together.
Cinnamon,
sugar.
cashews, raisins. Woo! There you have it. Perfect bread pudding.
Moving on.
Alright, so the next thing that we have is the chocolate pudding, which it is dark chocolate. It comes in cups, it's got a mousse texture, and chocolate shavings on top. Let's try it. Can I say it's a mousse? Because it looks airy, it looks bubbly.
No, it's a chocolate pudding. It is a chocolate pudding. It's got a souffle like consistency, very creamy. A dark chocolate indeed. You can. It's bitter. It is bitter sweetness. It's got. I think it's about 70 or 80% dark chocolate.
It's definitely 80% dark
You
chocolate.
can taste the bitterness of the chocolate. Very subtle sweetness. The chocolate shavings give it that extra bit of depth
Yeah. Absolute
and
depth.
intensity. Very creamy, very light, very fluffy, very airy, very bitter, but it's got that subtle sweetness to it that we all love. For the guys that like bitter chocolate, this is your
Go-to dessert.
this is your soul food.
That's true, but it's not good for a person with a hangover. Trust me. It's not good for the person with a hangover. It is lovely. It is good to be enjoyed. You can indulge in this. You can absolutely indulge in this because, as Sean mentioned, it is bitter dark chocolate. For the people who love dark chocolate as much as I do, especially the bitter one, be it 70%, 80%, or even 90%, this is definitely something you would like because there isn't too much sugar, which is very nice, and you've got the cocoa, the chocolate that comes through, which forms the entire dessert. So there's nothing lacking, but I think the slight sweetness is because of the shavings on top. But that's just the first part of it, and then it goes into a nice dark dessert.
Yeah, it goes into a nice dark creamy dessert, but very, like I said, it's like a soulful dessert is what I would call it.
Yeah, it actually is.
It's very warm, creamy, mushy.
Mushy. It's souffle type.
Yeah, it's got that.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, it's
What
got
did you
a
say?
creamy. It's got a creamy texture to it, and yes, a very, 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 very nice dessert.
And since we've come almost near tea time, we thought we'd end it on a nice, short,
We'll end it on a short note.
sweet note.
Yeah, short and sweet.
Short and sweet. Okay, guys, so if you're thinking we're crazy, that is true, but these are shortbread cookies, which by her description are absolutely buttery. They are flaky, they are soft, they are airy, and they taste like clouds in your mouth. Did I cover that? Okay, my turn. Oh, yum.
She hit all those 5 points on the head, guys. Whatever she describes the shortbreads to be, light, airy, buttery,
Soft.
soft, is that biting into a cloud. Well, this cloud has got a bit of a crunch on the top,
The
but
bottom.
right, on the top, when you say on the top, you mean on the top.
Oh, okay. He means on the outside.
on the outside. It's got that crunch to it, but as you bite into it, it's just soft, buttery biscuit, which melts in your mouth. A very, very nice tea time snack. If you guys like black coffee, this would be black coffee or just your normal black tea.
It would go really, really well with this. It is light, and even a cup of hot
Cocoa
tea.
or hot tea.
Oh, that'd be nice. And you just take this and dip it in, and then go.
Wow, guys, this is spot on. Everything that she said, you very rarely see someone describe something and you have all of those elements show up in the dish.
Yeah.
As Rebecca was explaining it, that's why I kept putting my fingers out, because all of those 5 points were spot on.
Basically, I hit all the 5 spots.
Yes. So yeah, it's a very buttery light dish. So to have at tea time.
And it tastes really nice. It's very different. It's got a very happy feeling towards it. I think at the end of it.
It finishes it on a very sweet, a very subtle, sweet, soft finish to the day. to the video.
To today, yes. It actually does have that because
and it's got a little bit of saltiness as well.
yeah, that too. But it does, guys. Today we've had food again from the House of Anglo, which is right up, I would say, my alley because he just doesn't, whatever, blend in.
Well, I grew up with a different kind of food.
Yeah, he grew up more with the.
Your traditional Indian food.
I did too, but then it had an Anglo twist to it, like a twang.
Hers was Indian food with a twist. Mine was just basic Indian food.
But good food, huh? Yeah. Karen, thank you so much from the House of Anglo. We enjoyed, absolutely devoured the pork chops, as you mentioned, as you rightfully mentioned. The jangli pulao, spot on. Pastol mince, I missed my chapatis with it.
I miss my chapatis with it.
I didn't say it like that. I missed my chapatis with it.
Babe, this has got a little bit of English influence. Why is English coming out of it?
It's chapatis.
She said, I like my chapatis with it.
No, I didn't. That was just him putting on his British accent. Whatever. I like my chapatis with it. The beef jalfrezi pie. Jalfrezi is heavenly. Jalfrezi actually has Parsi roots, Persian roots. So there you go, another two. And finally, we have the bread pudding, which was another Anglo classic. Flavors, light, airy, leftover bread. Karen doesn't use leftover bread, but it is what we typically use.
At home is what you would. This is what you would use in this dish. Sorry, it's not leftover bread.
It's not leftover bread from the House of Anglo, but in any Anglo house, if you find bread pudding, they bought excess bread and they wanted to make a dessert out of it, or the child kept pestering the mother like I would and say, "Mama, I want bread pudding," and that's how it happens. And dark chocolate souffle, very bitter, very nice, very minimal amounts of sweet traces in it. And finally ended off on a nice short and sweet note. We had the shortbread cookies, which were just divided.
The thing is, Karen, as people that love our food, all types of food, the one thing that I appreciate what Karen is doing is the fact that she's sticking to tradition.
Yep.
Anglo-Indian cuisine, come on, let's face it, guys. Anglo-Indian cuisine, it's not the way it was before.
And not many people
know about it. Not a lot of people have tried it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been years. It's been as an Anglo-Indian nano would say, it's been donkey's years since we've had all of this, and to see this tradition come back to life, this form of food come back to life. Not a lot of people do it. You have very few people that are stuck to their roots. A lot of influences have changed the course of how the food is prepared over the number of years that we've been here. It's nice to see someone go back in time and stick to tradition and pay respects to what we've learned growing up. Me, not so much, but I'm just talking about food on the whole. Going back to those roots to be able to serve you food from yesteryear is something that is gutsy, something that should be appreciated,
take it forward as well,
and something that should move forward. And thank you, Karen, for giving all Anglo-Indians out there that take on how Anglo-Indian food is. Thank you for bringing back the tradition. It is not so spicy, very subtle kind of food that is just amazing. Loving, caring goodness in the food. It's those kind of flavors that make you come back. It's not the flavors that make you run screaming. But even though it's very subtle flavors, it's the main ingredients, as in the star of the dish, that actually that stands out. And your jalfrezi, even though you have the pie, you've got the butteriness of the pie, you've got the sharpness of the cheddar cheese, but the mince itself, which is the star of the show, actually stands out.
Yeah.
And similarly, all of the other dishes, bread pudding, yes, even though it's got a combination of eggs, custard, cinnamon, sweet, so many things, but it's the bread that stands out. The pork dish, it's got so many flavors, your garlic, so much of pungency, so many ingredients that come up to make the dish. But at the end of it all, it's the pork that stands out. Nothing is overpowering. This is just a few things that are given. Well, your jungli biryani is just a mix of it's just a mix of everything which makes it what it is. And we love the biryani, and I appreciate what Karen is doing. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for what you're doing. And this goes out to all Anglos out there. The tradition is still kept alive, and thank you so much, Karen.
You can find it in the House of Anglo. And for people who are wanting to know what it tastes like, call Karen, House of Anglo. Again, it's funny because when I think of Karen, like, I think of this. So Karen was a junior of mine in Sacred Hearts, and I can still picture this little girl with big, beautiful light eyes. I'm not sure she has green eyes or hazel eyes, but she's got lovely light eyes.
Karen, what's the color of your eyes?
And with her she had two little plaits, and I still remember her running around school. So it is so different to actually think of her actually being behind the House of Anglo, growing up, cooking, and giving us such amazing food. Thank you for sticking to tradition, as Sean would say.
Yes, thank you for taking us back in time, actually.
Yeah, to our nana's tables, basically. So thank you once again. We've enjoyed our Sunday lunch. You've cured Sean's hangover.
Sorry if I was a little mellow, guys, but my head is in a
Things.
different place that I'm here, but I tried to make amends, and but overall, thank you for what you've given us, sticking to tradition, and the amazing spread that we've had.
Yeah. So now you go have your Sunday lunch. If you haven't planned for the rest of the week, give Karen a call, see what she can whip up, and we need to go and get our drinks on.
Yes,
Along with our
I'm
food
going
as well.
to get my hangover cured. Ta-da!
See you soon. Bye, guys.